Hello, welcome Coach Art community. It's awesome to have you back. My name is Coach Jess. I'm a program manager here with Coach Art, and today I'm going to be showing you all how to make awesome no-bake edible cookie dough. I don't know about you, but I am making cookies. I always want to taste a cookie dough. We know we're not supposed to. It's kind of like a forbidden treat. I'm going to show you how to make an unforbidden treat. Okay, it's a lot of fun. It's really simple too. So we'll go through the ingredients first. And then I'll show you what we need to make it. First thing up is old-fashioned oats. You can also just use oat flour. I use these oats and then I went ahead and blended them in my blender to turn them into an oat flour. So here I have my oat flour. I went ahead and did it ahead of time. That way you didn't have to listen to my very loud blender. But I did use these oats, about 2 cups to make 1.5 cups of oat flour. We also will need butter. If you're vegan, you can use vegan butter or coconut oil. So I'll be using coconut oil today. You're also going to need sugar. So I have regular cane sugar, and then we're going to need brown sugar. This is just coconut brown sugar. It's really good. I like it. But any brown sugar is going to work perfectly for this. You'll need some vanilla. Of course, chocolate chips. We're making a chocolate chip cookie dough. Classic. And a pinch of sea salt. So I just have a big thing here, but we only need a very little bit. Okay, and then we'll be using a dash of water. You can also use milk or your preferred milk alternative like almond milk, oat milk. But I'm just going to be using water. Okay. All right, so let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is mix together our oil or butter with our sugar. It's a process called creaming when you're actually baking. Actually, I don't think this is open, so. With the butter, you would want to use, half a cup. And with oil, I'm going to be using 1/3 of a cup. So I'm going to scoop out about 1/3 cup of the coconut oil. You can also start off with 1/4 of a cup. Coconut oil can be very slippery when you use too much of it. So I kind of like to start slow and then add more if I need it. But again, you want to do half a cup of butter. Half a cup of butter is usually just 1 full stick of butter if you have regular butter. So it's just like 1 stick, and they usually have those measurements on there. But for this coconut oil, I'm going to go ahead and smooth it out. And you do want it to be your butter at room temperature or soft. That's how you'll get it to get that creamy, fluffy consistency. So if it's not already, you might want to warm it up for like 5 seconds, 10 seconds, just to prepare it. So I'm scooping my coconut oil. Coconut oil is a great butter substitute, but you can also use vegan butters. There's one brand I really like called Miyoko's, and they use a few different oils to get a nice buttery tasting non-butter. It's really, really good. I'm going to go ahead and pop it inside of my mixing bowl. So I just have a little bit of coconut oil in here, and I'm going to melt it for a few seconds. So please don't mind my microwave. I did put it on 30 seconds, but I'm only going to do for about 15. And if you need more time, you can always microwave it for a little bit longer. Oops. I'm going to do a few more seconds. So when it comes out, it looks something like this. There's still some chunks, but most of it's liquid. And we want to go ahead and add our sugar next. So for the regular sugar, we're going to be using half a cup. Now, I could not find my half cup measuring cup, but I'm going to use my third cup and do just a little bit extra. And we're mixing it directly into our butter, coconut oil, vegan butter, whatever you've decided to use. Okay. I'm sure that was approximately half. And this is just the regular sugar. For the brown sugar, we do want to use 1/3 cup. So again, I'm just going to grab my brown sugar. And we're putting this all inside of the same mixing bowl, so it's going to go right in. And for those of you who are just joining us, welcome. It's so great to see you. Today we're making edible cookie dough. I love eating cookie dough, and now I don't have to feel guilty about it. So far, we've added in either butter or our butter substitute. A butter substitute can be coconut oil or vegan butter. If you're using regular butter, you want to use 1 stick or half a cup. And if you're not, you want to go ahead and use either a 1/4 or a 1/3 cup of coconut oil. You can start slow and add more if you find you need a little bit more. I'm also going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Just a little dash. And 2 tablespoons of water or milk. Now you can, I'm gonna use water. I used water before. I really like the way it came out, but you can use like an almond milk or regular milk if you like. So we have 1 tablespoon. 2. And then we're going to mix it together. You can use a whisk. I'm going to use a fork today. And you want to mix until everything is nice and combined. It can, just a heads up, take about a minute to mix this, especially if you're doing it by hand. You want to get it so that it's not super grainy. And if you're having trouble, you might need just a little bit more coconut oil. It should be okay if you're using butter. Mine isn't super fluffy, but then again, I didn't use any actual butter, so that's why. But I'll show you what it looks like. So everything is nice and a good texture. You want it to be fully mixed together. If it takes you a little bit longer than a minute, that's okay as well. Take as long as you need to get a good beat. Okay, so after you've mixed these two together, you want to add the oat flour and the salt. So I'm going to be pouring in my oat flour and a pinch of salt. I'm not going to measure it, just going to give it a little sprinkle and mix it all together. Okay, mine is combined, but I do need to add just a little bit extra coconut oil to help it kind of clump together. So I'm going to scoop a little bit extra out. For reference, I did a 1/3 cup earlier. The first time around, I used way too much coconut oil, so I was a little bit nervous, but I'm going to go ahead and add in a little bit more because we need the coconut, the creamy part, to kind of bind it all together. So I'm going to start with just a little bit. And I'm letting this melt all the way so that I can mix it in easier since I'm adding it in after I've already added in the creamed sugar. And the key is you want it to clump together. So if it's not clumping together, you don't have enough. I don't have enough. And don't worry about having to experiment. I think the best part about this recipe is that we're not baking it at all. All of these ingredients can literally just be eaten. So as I add them, it's going to turn out really great either way. I was trying to avoid adding too much coconut oil because as it dries and hardens, it can kind of stick to, the coconut oil can stick to the parchment paper, which is a little annoying. But, oops, sorry. But I needed to keep it clumped together, and I thought I could avoid, but I cannot. Or I should maybe have used less flour. Okay, definitely getting a lot better, much clumpier. So you can kind of see it's starting to get thickened. There we go. Thicken into clumps. You want it to get to where you can form a ball in your hand. Okay. And if you are at that step, the last thing you're going to want to do, awesome. Just checking. The last thing you'll want to do is add in your chocolate chips. So you have our chocolate chips. We're going to dump those in. Give it a good stir. And then I like to make them into little balls and put them onto parchment paper. You can also put them inside, like put the entire mix inside of a jar and scoop it out, which is also really fun. It's kind of up to you. Let me wipe my spoon off, and then I'm going to use the spoon to scoop out chunks. So I can form them into balls. You can actually do, I guess, any shape that you want to do. It's up to you. This is a big mix, so I won't do all of them here. But it helps to kind of squeeze it in between your hands. If you are choosing to do the ball method, you can roll it a little bit too, but I like to kind of just squeeze it at this stage into a nice ball shape. And then here I just prepped my parchment paper and I'm lining them. You can store any unused dough, quote unquote, inside of the fridge. Just make sure that it's nice and covered. And this is great for an on-the-go treat. I would say snack. It's very sweet, but it's a great treat to enjoy. It tastes just like a chocolate chip cookie. I was very impressed. So I'll make 5 of these little dough balls. Wipe my hands off, and we're done. It's super fast, super easy, a lot of fun. If you do try this out, don't forget to send pictures and let me know how yours turned out. If you do change any of the ingredients, I would love to see how it worked out for you. You can tag us or post it onto any of our social media. We would love to see. Oh, you can even see my, I'm sorry about that. You can see my my balls. Well, these are my cookie balls. I actually like to keep mine in the fridge for like at least 10 minutes. It helps to get them to be just like a little bit hard. You can still bite through them, so they're not rock solid, but it does help with the eating process if you're not going to scoop it out. So I like to just set it in the fridge for a few minutes, but they are ready to eat as soon as you're done mixing. So it's really up to you. And yes, thank you for joining me in the kitchen. I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys had fun as well. And I will see you all at a future live tutorial. Have a great day, everyone.